Welcome to the Advancing Entrepreneur. This show is all about surrounding yourself for success. Hear stories of building traction, gaining acceleration, and creating results from successful entrepreneurs who have surrounded themselves with other successful entrepreneurs. And now, here's your host, Annette Nightingale James.
Hello, Advancing Entrepreneurs. This is Annette James from the Advancing Entrepreneur, and today I have with me Lisa Smith from Virginia. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for joining us here today. I'm excited to have you on because this entire show, this entire program is about helping entrepreneurs connect with other entrepreneurs so that they can really get the resources, the ideas, and the support that they need in their business. And Lisa and I had the opportunity to do that for each other for our season in our business when we sat together in a mastermind 4 years ago. It hurts my feelings when I think that much time has passed, but 4 years ago. So I'm particularly excited to have you on today because I love having my mastermind buddies on so that they can share their experience. So let me introduce you here, and then I'll turn it back over to you to expand. Lisa Smith is a certified Master Hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, EFT practitioner, an author, and a speaker. She's owned and operated her own personal and professional development business, Life by Design LLC, since 1998 and took it to a full-time practice in 2006. And in 2010, her company launched another division, Marketing Mindset&Manifesting, to coach small business owners and entrepreneurs to build a successful business based on the techniques that have made her business fun and profitable. Lisa, tell us a little bit more.
All right, great. Well, it's interesting how things just flow. You start off one place, and you just keep doing what you're doing, and then as opportunities come up, you see different ways that you can expand. So, and that's one great thing about having your own business is you're free to create whatever you want from it at any time and to change whatever you want at any time. So I love the idea that, my business can continue to constantly evolve based on new ideas coming to me, new resources coming to me, new opportunities coming to me. And so it never gets stale, and you're always able to keep those creative juices flowing. And you never know either what kinds of old skills that maybe you haven't used for a while eventually come back around, and you find a way to integrate them into what you're doing. And I'll share a little bit more about that, how I've done that later when we
Exactly. I'm sorry. I just have to address something really quick. My cat, do you see? If you are not watching the video, this makes no sense to you if you're catching the audio version of the show. But my cat is spoiled to death, and this is the one that follows me around, and she has her place on the desk. And she's decided to be moving around. So if you have, if you're watching the video and you're wondering what the heck is going on, that's my Advancing Entrepreneur cat. She's our mascot. Okay, her name is Nala. So I apologize. I had to address that. I could see what a distraction that might be. Well, I love what you were telling us, Lisa, about you have the ability to create whatever you want in your business. And I think as entrepreneurs, we have a couple of things that happen to us. First of all, we are full of ideas in life, and it's easy to get a little bit distracted. But the second thing is that it takes a fair amount of focus and concentration and energy and perseverance to create a business and to continue to build a business. So will you share with our audience, what is it that inspires you every day to keep pushing forward?
Well, I'd have to say the number one thing is my clients, because, I have a full practice. So I've got a lot of clients that I'm working with on a lot of different kinds of issues, and their goals inspire me. Sometimes they come up with these great goals, and I get excited about it. And I get excited about, wow, I really, would love to help this person have this goal come true. So that also when my clients have successes, so when they show some kind of breakthrough or that growth and that feeling of joy and that gratitude, that they express when they're telling me the breakthrough they had or the progress that they're making and how excited they are. And when they give the testimonial and they share their story, that's what inspires me every day. Because, as an entrepreneur, there's down days. There's days where, it seems like nothing you're doing is working. You try something new, it kind of falls flat. You're reaching out to people and people just, sometimes they're not responding, and you're like, is it worth it? Am I doing the right thing? Should I stick with this? And then you get that client who reports in on their success, and you're like, you're lifted up again. So, that's the thing that gets me out of bed every day and juices me up about who can I help today? What kind of difference can I make in somebody's life today? And how can I help my clients the very best way possible to experience that sense of joy with the change.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in our own head, and I like what you're saying, because it means it's kind of encapsulated by saying it's not about you, right? It's not about Annette, it's not about Lisa, it's about that person. It's about the person listening right now that needed to hear that. It's about the person who's kind of scared to put their materials out there, or, ask for their first client because they're focused on themselves. And it's not about us, it's about the people that we serve. So I think that encapsulates what a lot of people go through every day. So I love that. All right, so tell us a little bit. This whole show, like I said, is about surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs. My favorite way to do that is through a mastermind group and live events, going to live events and connecting with other people. So before you started doing that in your business, tell us, what did your business look like? What kind of struggles were you having? What kind of roadblocks were you hitting up against before you reached out and started connecting to other entrepreneurs?
Well, it's like you feel like you're an island. And, so as I was plugging along with my business, you're thinking only within your way of thinking. And it feels like some days you've got no support. I mean, I'm single, so I don't have a, significant other who's there, trying to lift me up. The majority of my friends are employees. So, talking about the business struggles, and, they just kind of didn't get it. And then in the first 3 years of my business, I was trying to figure out everything out on my own. I would do like telecalls and, things like that here and there to try and get some information, but it was all just bits and pieces, a lot of different information, different ways, and trying to apply it. And then you try to apply it and it doesn't quite work out, and you're not sure why, and you don't have anybody to, to ask. My first 3 years, I made just enough to continue to pay my bills. And the first 3 years were the same income for the first 3 years, every year, within like $1,000, and it was like $24,000 to $25,000 what I was bringing in, not my, not
right. Then you have expenses and
gross, right. And I own a house, I have mortgage, etc. So, you're in it. You feel like you're in it alone. When you're struggling, you have to rely on yourself to pick yourself up, to remotivate you, and your reserves get low sometimes. And then when you have a success, it's like, yay!
I can't tell anybody, because all of my employee friends would be like, "What's the matter with you?"
Yeah. Okay. So, right. Oh my God! I got a new client. Right. Yeah. So it's you don't have people to pick you up when you have those struggles, and then you don't have anybody to really celebrate who gets it, or who's not jealous when when you share about that. And then again, like I said, all these kind of like bits and pieces of information, but no sort of systematic way of making sure you're doing the right thing first, and then the next thing that has to happen, because there are certain things that need to happen in a particular order in order for them to work out, in order for you to expand and to grow. So that's kind of where I was those first 3 years before I really reached out to my first, high-level coach and mastermind program.
Was there something that happened where you were like, okay, that's it, I have to invest in myself in this way?
Oh yeah, the bank account thing.
Oh. Well, share that with us, because it might seem a little silly now, but there's somebody out there right now that's going through something similar, and they might be feeling hopeless. So tell us the
Right.
story. Give them some insight.
Well, yeah, I had a really good job in marketing, in a career in marketing before I decided to, go out on my own, do hypnotherapy full time. So, and I had, a little bit of a nest egg kind of saved up. I had a good amount of savings uh, when I transitioned, and when I went out on my own, I think it was like, yeah, it was right about the 3 year mark. It was January, February, and I remember going to my boyfriend at the time had taken me to a Tony Robbins seminar down in Florida, and I got pumped up from it, and it really helped. But I was looking at, right before the trip, my bank account was down to $2,000. I mean, that was it. Savings and check. I mean, it was just like, oh my God, what happened to my big cushion? Now, it went into the business, it went into my, my house, different things. But I'm like, crap, $2,000. What am I going to do? This can't go on any longer. I'm gonna run out of money. So I said, I have to do something different, and that's where I really, really started to get serious and figure out what I needed to do differently, and to find a way to invest in working with a coach. So the Tony Robbins event was great because it was a good initial kind of motivational lift, and that inspired me. And again, it got me focused on what do I need to do, and how can I, find the way to fund what I need to hire the expert help to give me the steps in the way that I need them, and that's going to create that community group. And so, at the time I was resistant on using credit cards, but I had really good credit. And so I moved past that resistance, and David Nagel was one of the people I'd been kind of listening to online, but hadn't done any programs with him. And he said, sometimes you have to use credit cards to invest in your company and what you need to build your business until you don't have to rely on that so much. And so, so I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And, and I continue to do that to finance my business. And sometimes there's, bigger debt that I take on for something that I feel is going to help me, but I'm always able to then, with the progress that I've made, pay those things down.
It goes from that whole I can't afford this to how can I afford this, right? You
Exactly.
can make
We
anything
we have to
work.
figure out, right. Yeah. Pamela Bruner, who's one of my coaches, talks about you've got to prime the pump. So in order to prime the pump, you have to be willing to pour the water onto the pump to prime it. But if you're holding onto the water saying, well, this is the last of my water. If I pour it on here, this pump, what if I pump it and nothing comes out? Now I got no water, right? But you've got to be willing to let that fear go, and you've got to be willing to take the leap of faith that you've got to find the resources to prime the pump, knowing that something is going to come out. And, again, when you're really committed to making something happen, by gosh, you're going to make that water come out of that pump.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also being persistent, right? I was reading a book about 2 months ago or so, and they're talking about when you prime the pump, but then you have to pump for a long time sometimes before, like if they had like a whole diagram with the water coming up from the earth and stuff, and
There's
if you,
right,
there's that little trickle, and if you're like, oh, if that's all I'm going to get, and you're going to let go of the pump and walk away, then all the work that you did to pull that water up is just going to go right back down, and you're not going to have the results to show for it. So priming the pump and then sticking with it, right? So not expecting those overnight results, giving your effort the time to put its way in. So I love all that. Okay, so you were kind of like at this make it or break it moment, and you chose to invest in yourself. So after, getting some coaches and starting to surround yourself with mastermind groups and stuff, take us to a point in time when you kind of had that aha moment, that light bulb moment that you were like, this is what I needed. This is where it's at. That springboarded you into your next project or your next business.
Right. Yeah, actually, it was when we were in the Gold Mastermind together with Fabienne, and we were at one of the 3 live events that she did during the year. And I was thinking about how can I expand myself, because I've been doing weight loss coaching and, stop smoking and, the typical kind of hypnosis things for so many years. I was kind of getting, I don't know, getting a little bit bored with it. And I'm like, what's next for me, and how can I expand my business? How can I go into something else? How can I even, find ways to charge more for what I'm doing? So, and it just kind of hit me one night in the hotel room of, I've got all these marketing skills, not only because my degree is in marketing and I understand marketing and I'm not afraid of marketing and loved it when I was doing marketing in Boston. But I've also got all the things that I've learned about running my own small business as an entrepreneur. It's very different than the marketing that I learned in college. So it was also my own world experience about what I'd learned up to that point that had finally clicked in and allowed me to exponentially grow my business every year after that initial 3 years of plateau. And then, I've grown my business. So, I mean, I've had, I've made in a quarter what I used to make in a full year. So it was like, I've got all this knowledge. I've got all these skills. I've kind of figured out, this good formula, which is, combining the marketing along with the mindset, along with the hypnosis and the EFT and the techniques that I was using with my personal coaching clients. I'm like, duh. That's one of the things I had to start to do that for myself. I wasn't doing the mindset work for myself. I was all focused on the marketing, which is all well and good. You need that. But I had my own gremlins getting in the way of implementing the practical things that I was learning. So I said, you know what, everybody else needs this too. And I was meeting all kinds of other entrepreneurs and business owners as I was networking and saying, they've got the gremlins too. And or a lot of them, they're really good at what they do, but they don't know about business. They wanted to make a business out of what they love and what they do well, but they didn't have any business background. So the practical stuff was necessary. And I'm like, yeah, I can teach that to them. I know it. I know what works and what doesn't, especially for holistic practitioners and coaches. And then I also know you got to get the mindset right. You got to get the gremlins out. You got to make sure that your thoughts are in alignment with taking the practical actions that you need to take. And then that combined with some things I was learning from some spiritual business coaches, the laws of attraction and manifesting much more quickly and easily what you want. So you're not always having to go out to get it. Some things are coming to you much more easily. So it's really the combination. I said, ding, ding, ding. I can teach these three things. These are the three principles that after that third year of plateau, I started to apply all three of them: the practical in a systematic way, the mindset and working the mindset with myself, and then, utilizing some of the really powerful manifesting techniques that I was learning. So it was marketing, mindset, and manifesting was born.
And you said that you kind of just were in your hotel room one night and that hit you. And I think I wanted to kind of highlight that because, sometimes we join these groups or we go to this live event and we're expecting somebody to hand us something. We're expecting it. By the way, Lisa Smith, here is your multi-million-dollar idea. Please take and run with this and be well, right? And if we don't get it, we're like, well, that was a total waste of time. But for you, it wasn't even in a session. It wasn't even in a hot seat. You weren't on an accountability call with anybody. It just kind of hit you. But I'm going to still give credit to the fact that you took and got away from your business for a few days. You surrounded yourself with that energy and that creative thought.
Oh yeah.
You put yourself in a position to have that aha moment, and sometimes that's what it takes. A lot of people say we already have everything we need. We already know everything we need, but we have to put ourselves in a position to have that light bulb go off.
Right. Well, yeah, because it was really a culmination of the things that we've been doing during the weekend, because I think that was day 2 of the 3-day weekend. So we had been doing things during the day. We had been, asking ourselves questions. We've been doing masterminding with each other at the tables. And, then that's, it started to bubble up. And then when I was in the hotel room later on and I was letting it kind of percolate, and it's, that's where it came in. And I started to do some Google searches. And I'm like, there's nothing that combines all three. There are people doing marketing and mindset. There are people doing marketing or mindset and manifesting. There are people doing marketing and manifest. But I didn't find anything. There was somebody incorporating all three principles.
So you became a, what's the saying? A market of one.
Yes.
So, which
Right.
is a really good marketing lesson for our folks. Okay, so tell us, since you had that aha moment, and since you were in the hotel room and you were doing your due diligence and your research, what's happened for you since then? Just update us a little bit. Tell us what's going on with you now.
Okay, great. Well, I'm working with business clients, which is fabulous. A lot of them are coaches and holistic practitioners, but I work with other types of businesses. And, the one thing that they have in common, because I work with people in some different MLMs, and I've worked with a photographer, I've worked with a handyman service. Um, those are off the top of my head. So, and I've worked with people locally, and I've worked with people, as far away as Tanzania. So Skype is a great thing, right?
Yes,
Makes the world much smaller.
absolutely.
And so I've been developing the system by working with these people about, what they need, what works. But the main thing that they all have in common is usually they're just working for themselves. Now they might have a team like with the MLMs, but basically, again, they're their own boss. And they're usually people who don't have any business background. But they have a gift, or they have a love, or they found a product that they really believe in, and they really want to be able to do this full time and make a successful business out of it, and not just be eking by, like I was those first 3 years. And so I'm able to give them, the practical as well as the mindset things. Now, not everybody's into the manifesting element and want to learn those kinds of techniques, but some of them are as well. They're more spiritually aligned, and they're really, you're like, yeah, give me that too. So the way that things have transpired, I'm still doing the personal coaching, but I'm working also now with, the business owners and helping them to grow their businesses. The handyman service that I worked with last year was actually a couple, the first couple that I ever worked with. I wasn't sure how that would work, working with a couple, but they were great. They took all my suggestions to heart. Every once in a while, some resistance about something I suggested, but they put everything together. Now they went from barely eking by, making maybe $2,000 a month, to now they have so much business that they've had to hire other people to help them to do the work. And they're still having more work than they can handle. And and again, I love that, and because they love what they're doing. And she does the marketing and the work in the office, and she's blossomed. Love to see how she's blossomed as a person, gotten out of her shell, and now she loves going out and talking to people and doing the marketing. And he's loving doing the work, but also being able to just price things and then have his other workers go and do a lot of the work for him, which is great, because what happened this year is he was diagnosed with throat cancer. And so he's been undergoing chemo and radiation and stuff. He hasn't been able to work as much. Thank God that they've gotten to the level that they have, because otherwise they would have been out of money. He's not able to work. But his workers are doing the work for him. So their business is still thriving, even though he's going through the cancer. And thankfully, he's on the other side of it now, and he's healing, and things are looking good. So
That's good. I think what the point that this brings up for me is that it's about the ripple effect, right? It's about the long-term effects that we can't even see. For you at the time, it might have been, I need a client, or, here's somebody that I can help, build their business a little bit. But for them to be able to deal with this, situation in their lives, and for them to be able to hire people who now have jobs and money for their family, those are all the things that entrepreneurs do, and this is the impact that we have on the world. So you're fortunate enough to be able to see their long-term results. Sometimes we don't get to see the client's long-term results, but it can be about the ripple effect just as much as it can be about the immediate work that we're doing with somebody. So I love that too. Is there anything other than the coaching that you want to talk about, or you have any projects or anything coming up, or do you want to just invite our listeners to connect with you if they want to learn more about the coaching?
Well, I think, again, I was talking about, always looking for ways to expand, your business, always looking for new ideas and ways to help people. So be listening to your clients or to people when you're out maybe networking, hear what their challenges are, and then find a way, see if what you have to offer, you can find a way to meet that challenge, because then you're not creating in a bubble, you're creating what people already want and need and are willing to pay for. So I've been doing a lot of work recently on, money. So money is a huge issue for people. And, I'm not a millionaire yet. But I'm certainly further along than a lot of people that I'm meeting. So I'm combining the the money mindset along with another woman who I'm networking with. She's been a client of mine. I'm a client of hers. She's a financial planner. She's got an amazing company with great, great products I totally believe in, and I use them myself. So we're combining together. She's teaching the practical aspects of investing your money, saving your money, building, growing your money, protecting it. And then I'm teaching the mindset aspects of what's blocking you from pulling that money in or being able to hold on to the money, or use it the way you want instead of it going out the window with unexpected kinds of things. So I'm teaching the mindset part of the money. She's teaching the practical things. And it's a wonderful, wonderful combination. So I'm really excited about some of the plans we have for moving that forward.
Excellent. And if you will send over some links, and our audience wants to go to the advancingentrepreneur.com, type the word Lisa into the search bar. Lisa's show notes page will come right up, and we will link to Lisa's contact information, and as well as if you want to keep us updated on that program. That sounds very cool. All right, so now we're going to enter a little bit of a speed round called Playing Favorites, and we'd like to learn a little bit more about your favorite things. So Lisa, tell us, what is your favorite charity?
Right now, my favorite charity is a local one. It's called CCAN, which is the Compassion Advocacy Network. And it's a organization that helps out all different kinds of needs in the community. So they help to pool resources for different needs in the community. It's not just about them and their one cause. They're finding out what are the needs from nursing homes, from schools, from all over, the homeless. And then we provide what they need. Do they need backpacks and school supplies for the kids? Do they need sleeping bags for the homeless? Do they need, non-perishables? Do they need toilet paper for the people in the nursing homes or different places where you have to provide your own toilet paper? I mean, it's just little things you don't even think about. So I love their mission, and their mission is to get, just one person can make a difference. And
kind of like communities taking care of each other, right?
Right.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Very good. Well, tell us, Lisa, what is your favorite quote?
Oh gosh, I was reading that. I'm like, I have so many, so many. I think one that made a really deep impression upon me many, many years ago was, we create our own reality. And, again, that's so true. What I know about the mind now is we'll see what we're interpreting. So we're really creating our own reality based on the filters that we're creating. Well, how we're seeing things is our reality, but it's not necessarily the only reality. And then another one was, the universe is always conspiring in my favor. The universe is always conspiring in my favor. Only good comes from each experience.
I love it. I love it. Lisa, do you have a favorite new discovery, a resource, something online, something offline that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I found something last week when I was looking for something for a client to remind him about writing his gratitudes every day. And so I found this really great app. It's called My Gratitude Journal. And it's very simple. It's got a few different features on it that I really like. And it sends you a reminder every day. What are you grateful for today? Can you, write something in your gratitude journal? It's got like a little calendar so you can see the day, but you can also see the whole month. And there's a smiley face for every time you have an entry on a day for your gratitude. So I really like that. It's a little bit hard to find, so I'll give you the link for the listeners, because it's hard to find this particular one unless you know exactly what to search for, because there's a lot of different ones out there, but this is the one that I like the best.
Okay, great. We'll get that up on your show notes page as well. Tell me, Lisa, what is your favorite song?
Oh, again, that's like, oh, I don't have a favorite song.
Well, do you have something that you listen to when you need to be pumped up, if you're kind of, a little bit low on energy?
There's two artists that I listen to when I want that pump me up. For just general self-esteem, pumping me up, Jana Stanfield, Jana, so Jana Stanfield. And I've actually met her in person when I was doing training with Jack Canfield. And great songwriter, and she's got really amazing pump you up music. My favorite of hers, I think, is If I Were Brave. What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? Just love the words. It makes me cry every time. And then the other artist is Karen Taylor Good, and she's got a variety of gratitude and money songs that I put together on one disc. So I've got it in my disc player next to my bed, and I'll play that in the morning when I want to pump myself up about receiving money and being grateful, because gratitude is one of the things that energizes, money flowing to you. So.
For sure. I love that. And Lisa, share with the audience, what is your favorite business book?
Oh, gosh.
You had no idea that these were the hardest questions of the interview, did you?
I think one of my newest favorites is with my most recent business coaches, who their practice used to be called Rejuvenate, but now it's called Thrive, and it's Charlotte Jacobs and Jesse Corin. But here's the embarrassing thing. They rebranded the book and they changed the title, and I can't remember what the new title is, but the old title was to sell is to serve. To sell is to serve. And I love it. And I love the whole principles about their heart selling, and, and using the 5 elements because she was an acupuncturist. So using the 5 elements of like fire, water, earth, etc., and what each one means in connecting with people and moving them through that sales process in a really heart-centered, authentic way. So I highly, highly recommend that book.
Very cool. All right, Lisa, now I want you to share with our audience, what one piece of advice would you, where you are today, give to yourself when you were first starting your business? Then I want you to let our audience know where they can find you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Okay, great. Well, I would have to say the one piece of advice is to work with an expert. Get a coach. Be part of a mastermind group. I think the programs that have worked best for me, and the ones that I will now always do, are ones that combine the coaching, and the coach and the time with the coach with a mastermind group. Okay, because it's both elements. Having that support and having additional outside resources from the group is just fantastic, amazing. I can't say enough about it. But also having that coach that you're working with that's giving you the directive step-by-steps on any particular thing. And sometimes you might trade coaches. You need to develop a new skill, and you hire a coach who teaches particularly on that skill. But in the very beginning, what I would have said is hire the coach who has a system for taking you from the very beginning into learning how to grow and how to grow appropriately. That's priceless. Don't try to do it alone. Don't try to do it piecemeal with these free things here and there. It's going to slow down your progress. You will exponentially, skyrocket yourself in your progress once you get a coach and you've got that support system.
Very cool. Tell us where our audience can find you.
Okay, my business website is mmmcoach.com. That's the short URL. The 3 M's for Marketing, Mindset, and Manifesting. So again, you can go to the shortened URL, mmmcoach.com. And then that will bring you to the Marketing, Mindset, and Manifesting.com website. And I've got a blog on there, a business blog. So practical as well as mindset blog posts that I'll put, and resources that people can utilize for their business. I've got a free audio and transcript that they can download on the 3 master keys to building your business. And again, other resources on there. So again, if they want to avail themselves of any of those resources from the blog, from the free resources page, from the audio with, again, the transcript. So whether you like to listen or you like to read, but it'll teach you some of those three principles, and it has some exercises to do within each of those 3 principles: the marketing, the mindset, and the manifesting, to figure out where you're missing elements within your business.
Right, great. Some immediate implementation. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Again, audience, entrepreneurs, there you have it. If you go to theadvancingentrepreneur.com and type Lisa into the search bar, Lisa's show note page is going to come up, and we will link all of the resources there. So on behalf of Lisa, our mascot Nala, and myself, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Advancing Entrepreneur. If you enjoyed it, leave us a rating and review. Not only will it make our day, you'll also be helping others find this show and advance their own careers. Once you're done, be sure to head on over to iamadvancing.com and join our community to learn what it takes to be an advancing entrepreneur and surround yourself for success. Thanks again, and get ready to advance.